I've got to say, the more you work, you're just doing these amazing characters. Why do you choose these characters that are so flawed and so, unique?
Reflection of the self, not the unique part, but the flawed. I don't know. I have no idea. You read. I'm fortunate enough to get a few scripts put in front of me, and you read what you read, and wherever you are in your life, intellectually or emotionally, there's something in the character that speaks to you and ignites some level of empathy, and if the people that are involved in the project excite you then, which, the idea of working with Noomi was something that I was really, really excited to follow up on, and I'd seen her work with Niels, the director, of course, in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, so yeah, and I don't really go out of my way to do it because I think it's more instinctual than consciously going, I want to do different things, but I obviously I really enjoy doing different stuff. Like, it's great fun to go to work and do different stuff. If I had to do the same character over and over again or exist within the same genre of story again and again, I think I'd be bored.
Well, I think that's what makes this film interesting. Obviously, Noomi and him working before with such an amazing film. Did you find yourself kind of melding into the shorthand of that?
Yeah, they did. They had a really deep and obvious familiarity with each other from the start. But it did feel like, Terrence was very much in there, and I had a wonderful time working with Terrence and Dominic, but a lot of the story, a lot of the emotional heft of the story felt like it existed and lived and grew and breathed through Beatrice's relationship with Victor.
Yeah.
Rather than even the violence that was being sought as a means for revenge, was the relationship between these two very fractured, very broken characters who had committed themselves to the act of revenge, but through beginning to care for each other, their resolve for what they had put themselves to task was beginning to shaken. So they kind of wake up to themselves through waking up to the loneliness inherent in the person that they're facing, so that was kind of, so I felt like, I dropped in with, it felt like we had a nice little trifecta there, the three of us, To
me, some of the best moments are the silent moments.
Yeah.
The simple wave.
There's a lot of unspoken stuff in the film, and I've done parts that are very verbose and, where language is incredibly important. And in this, it was more to do with narrative and how the story was going to be told and how stylized it was going to be in the shooting. And I know Paul Cameron, who I've worked with before, the DP, had a very particular idea how he wanted the film to look, but a lot of the work is behavioural in the film, more than dialogue driven,
And was that a big part of the director?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I met Niels. Niels was the first person I met, and then I met Noomi. And obviously I'd seen Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I had also looked at a Danish film of his he had done previous to that called We Shall Overcome, which was did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
So different from Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and just really beautiful and odd and kind of moving and a little bit sinister, and so I thought, wow, the man that can direct both those, distinctly differently styled films and differently paced films, and would have a field day with this. There's nothing he couldn't do, really.